Hello, my name is Chris Gutierrez. I am a graduate student at the McCall Outdoor Science School with the University of Idaho. My studies are focused on natural resource management and environmental education. The McCall Outdoor Science School has partnered with the City of McCall to perform outreach and education with the local homeowners associations on the many benefits to become a Firewise community. I appreciate you taking the time today to hear about an important issue facing our community: wildfire. The truth is, wildfire is an essential natural process. McCall attracts visitors year-round to enjoy the natural beauty of the surrounding mountains, Payette Lake, and the incredible forest for a number of recreational activities. This surrounding beauty also requires wildfire to maintain its health. Predominantly, lodgepole, ponderosa, and other mixed conifers interact with wildfire to reproduce. They need fire to warm their cones, allowing them to open and drop seeds. Here in the McCall area, we can expect a chance of experiencing wildfire almost every season. The fire season of 2015 was highlighted by 3 major wildfires that occurred within 50 miles of McCall. The TP Springs, Rapid, and Campbell's fires burned more than 100,000 acres. This year, our area is yet again at risk because although we have had an average winter with a heavy amount of snowfall, it is rapidly melting at a rate faster than average. We can expect to see an increased threat of wildfire once we reach the dry summer season. Wildfires may make it impossible for firefighters to get to your property when fire is approaching. Let's say 10 homes are at risk at the same time here in McCall. The City of McCall's fire department has limited resources. It would be physically impossible for firefighters to reach each home. You may be saying to yourself that McCall is home to a smoke jumper base. Unfortunately, smoke jumpers are away on assignments in remote locations much of the season and would be unable to respond to a fire here in our area. However, our homes don't have to burn. We can make our home and communities prepared. We have developed tactics to battle wildland fire. However, if we really want to reduce loss of lives, homes, and properties, we must change our development, building, and landscaping practices. People who live and recreate in fire-prone lands assume a certain level of risk and responsibility due to the condition of the surrounding environment. To understand our wildfire risk, we need to understand a little bit about how wildfires spread. Fire is affected by fuels, weather, and terrain. Fuel includes anything that burns: trees, grass, homes, lawn furniture. Surface fuels consist primarily of flammable material on the ground: dry grass, shrubs, pine needles, dead branches. Surface fires tend to be relatively low intensity fires and don't usually put homes at risk, unless there is a continuous path of fuels that lead to the home. We can fix that though. Ladder fuels consist of flammable material that can carry fire to the tops of trees, tall brush, and low branches. Unfortunately, these can lead to crown fires. Crown fuels are the tops of the trees, also called canopies. When fire reaches this level, it becomes a high-intensity, fast-moving fire. These are the most difficult to control. Research shows homes must be within 100 feet of the flames to be directly ignited by a crown fire. But what gets homes here are fire brands. Fire brands are burning embers that can be carried up to a mile or more by strong winds and can start spot ignitions away from the main fire. It's these fire brands that put most homes at risk during high-intensity fire. Dry weather contributes significantly to the spread of wildfire. Think the dog-hot days of August here in McCall. Drought conditions accompanied by low humidity, which unfortunately has become the norm in the West, leads to dry vegetation that burns easily. Wind can cause fires to grow quickly, die down, or change direction. And don't forget that during high-intensity fires, strong winds can carry those firebrands that can start separate fires, up to a mile or more away. Fire is also affected by terrain. Generally, fire moves more quickly uphill and has longer flames than on level ground, or when spreading downhill. This is because the fire preheats the fuels above it, drying out vegetation and enabling fuels to ignite more quickly. McCall, being a mountain community, has a diverse topography that is a key ingredient for wildfire. The direction of the slope and the amount of sunlight an area receives also can impact fire behavior. Generally, south-facing slopes receive more sunlight. That can lead to drier fuels. Cooperation is key. Improving health of the land and reducing risks communities requires partnerships among federal and state agencies, tribal governments, fire departments, communities, and private landowners. The City of McCall took the steps to become a recognized Firewise community in 2015. However, 60% of the homeowners here in McCall are seasonal residents that enjoy the scape that McCall offers. However, they enjoy it within their own neighborhoods. The City of McCall does not have the authority to enforce Firewise landscaping and construction techniques, but it is active in educating and outreaching to the community to encourage to adopt those measures. Fire burns where conditions are right. Fire does not acknowledge jurisdictional boundaries of federal, state, and local agencies, tribes, or private landowners. Payette National Forest, the Idaho Department of Lands, the University of Idaho, and the City of McCall are working together to understand and accept what it means to live in a fire-prone area and to realize the benefits of managing fire in the wildlands. Federal and state agencies, along with the City of McCall, are responsible for reducing wildfire risk on public lands. But we have to help them out on private lands. They can't necessarily mandate what we do on our private property, and we would like to keep it that way. That means we have a responsibility to take proactive measures on our own. The bottom line, we can live compatibly with wildland fire while protecting our lives, homes, and natural areas by creating Firewise communities. People can live compatibly with fire if actions are taken to be aware of and prepared for local fire conditions. The National Firewise Communities Program is an interagency program designed to encourage local solutions for safety in the wildland-urban interface involving homeowners, community leaders, planners, developers, firefighters, and others in the efforts to protect people and property from the risk of wildland fire. The vision of Firewise communities is, with adequate planning and cooperation among varying interests, wildfires can occur without disastrous loss of life, property, and resources. There are several steps that homeowners can take. Research tells us that if we really want to reduce our risk of the wildfire threat to our homes, we need to focus right in our backyards. We need to focus on the home and its immediate surroundings. Federal and state land managers are taking care of the public lands, but it is our responsibility to reduce the hazards on our own private property. Landscaping is among the first elements of a home that others notice. If managed effectively, landscaping can also serve as a fuel break, protecting a home in the event of a wildfire. The primary goal for Firewise landscaping is fuel reduction, limiting the level of flammable vegetation and materials surrounding the home, and increasing the moisture content of remaining vegetation. Firewise landscaping also allows plants and gardens to reveal their natural beauty by leaving space between individual groups of plants and trees. Even if a landscape is designed in perfect compliance with Firewise recommendations, fire may still reach your home. Remember that heavy winds can carry firebrands over the tops of trees to land on a roof. If that were to happen to your home's exterior must play an important role in preventing ignitions that could lead to total home destruction. Keep in mind that the home ignition zone includes the home in relation to its immediate surroundings within the 100 to 200 feet zone. When considering improvements to reduce wildfire vulnerability, the key is to consider the home as part of the entire home ignition zone. The house itself and its immediate surroundings within that 100 to 200 foot zone. The home's vulnerability depends on how much flammable vegetation and other hazards are surrounding it in relation to the vulnerability of the home's construction materials. The higher the fire intensifies within the home ignition zone and the greater the firebrand exposure from the wildfire, the more you need non-flammable construction materials and resistant building design. In other words, if you want to have trees and vegetation close to your home, you need to use building materials that are less likely to burn, and vice versa. In addition to preparing your own home and family for potential wildfires, consider working with your neighbors to prepare your entire neighborhood. When a residential community has taken proactive measures to prepare homes, they survive a wildfire. The fire service is able to focus more of its resources on the main body of the fire as opposed to individual structures. In cooperation with state forestry organizations, Firewise Communities has developed a nationwide program to recognize communities that maintain an appropriate level of fire readiness. Firewise Communities USA. This program is of special interest to small communities and homeowners associations that are willing to mitigate against wildfire by adopting and implementing programs tailored to their needs. The communities create these programs themselves with cooperative assistance from state forestry agencies and local fire staff. The reality today is that fire agencies cannot solve the problem alone. Firefighters do not have the resources to defend every home during a wildfire. Personal responsibility is key. The residents of McCall can take steps to reduce their risks. We know that Firewise strategies can increase the likelihood of our homes surviving a wildland fire threat. There are no guarantees that our communities will be fireproof. Some fires just get too big and too hot. But if we take action to be Firewise, we greatly increase the chances that our homes and communities will withstand a wildfire.